Celeste. A year ago, when I was tapped on the shoulder and asked for the possibility of hosting NANOG, which is a rarity that's now coming forward more often, but Celeste certainly did a great job and the lion's share of the work in hosting this meeting for us, putting in the connectivity, looking for this beautiful hotel, and on behalf of all of us, Celeste, we'd like to present you this award. I promise not to get too emotional, but Rodney Joffe has a very, very long, rich history with NANOG and with Merit, and all of us, just all of us, owe him a great deal of gratitude for the large number of years of hosting NANOG. He has never shied away from the challenge and the extra resources that it took to put NANOG on in many, many venues across the country, and we truly, truly appreciate it. So Rodney, on behalf of all of us, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Great. Well, I want to welcome you to Los Angeles. I know several people, this may be your least favorite city, but we hope that we get you some good weather, a beautiful hotel, and you get some nice, fine dining experiences, and go away feeling a little bit better about Los Angeles after this conference. As Betty mentioned, this meeting wouldn't have happened without the support of Centergate Research and Rodney. And the Los Nettos Regional Network, the Board of Directors, voted to support this activity last year. And our member networks are the California Institute of Technology, the Claremont Colleges, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Loyola Marymount University, and the University of Southern California, which also contributed some additional resources as the home of Los Nettos. So you will see various people wearing Los Nettos shirts, and you'll see that they're all affiliated with different organizations. So that's where that comes from. So big thanks to Rodney for helping guide us through this process and making it a lot easier than it would have been. So Rodney, you rock. Interworld Communications, particularly Ralph Whitmore, did the site survey here at the hotel and came out several times to work with various entities to do the network diagram and was here to help install the network. And Cogent provided the fiber from the Biltmore to One Wilshire, where Los Nettos has a hub. So without Cogent, we wouldn't have been able to get you guys any connectivity. Our member representatives, Los Nettos Engineering, our information technology services provided some additional resources, and I got some really good restaurants recommendations from the School of Engineering. So that kind of, in a nutshell, gives you some of the people that are all involved. In particular, I'd like to mention that Art, Scott, and Mark from Cogent really helped us out a lot and jumped right in. So wherever you are, thank you. From Caltech, we have Nathan Lee. Claremont, we have Roger Weichman and Jefferson Cowart. From Loyola Marymount University, we have Todd Isaacson, Sam Winnetai, and Ramon Cruz. And from Centergate, not only Rodney, but Amy came in and has been doing a wonderful job in registration, so I hope she gets down here to actually hear some of the talks. And then our Los Nettos engineers, many of you know Walt Prue, our lead engineer, who's been with Los Nettos for over 20 years, and Yul Pyun and Sanford George. So why Los Nettos and why this October? Los Nettos was co-founded by John Postel, and our other co-founder is sitting right down here next to Vint, Danny Cohen. And around 20 years ago, our network was formed in October when our first AGS routers arrived for us to configure and test. So we wanted to celebrate John and his many contributions to the networking community, And what better way to do this than to host the NANOG and ARIN meetings, which combine the operational network expertise and the management of resources, which John was a part of. So the shirt. So you all have gotten your shirt, and it's got a caricature of John Postel on it and a bunch of airplanes, which you may wonder what the heck is that, and the Postel law: be conservative in what you send and liberal in what you receive. The airplanes are in memory of John's love of paper airplanes and the simplicity of which they are. And at his memorial 10 years ago, they actually took pages of the RFCs, folded them, and flew them out. So there will be something along those lines, I won't say specifically what, on Wednesday if you're here. So you have something to look forward to, something new on that. The caricature actually was loaned to us from the group that does the ICANN wiki, so we were very happy that they allowed us to do that. And interestingly enough, my son, who is not a geek, told me that he hears about the Postel's law in the internet gaming community. So it's far-reaching. Many people know it in many different contexts. So we thought it was appropriate to have it on the shirt. So I'm not going to go into these links here, but this has hyperlinks if you want to click on it. The USC Geography Department has a downtown walking tour. You can click on the different items to see where you are, and all these resources are up on the NANOG website. So if you don't know where to go, what to see, where to eat, there are restaurant suggestions, there's a walking tour, and there are also links to the Dash, which is our 25-cent hop on the bus, run around downtown LA bit, and also the Metro, which includes buses and our trains. Yes, Los Angeles does have some public transportation. So the setup. So the Biltmore, we have a Merit router sitting here, and we're going across Cogent fiber to their switch, and then on connecting to our switch at 1 Wilshire. At the Los Nettos location in 1 Wilshire, we go off to the USC campus to a bunch of internet exchanges and to NTT. We also have dark fiber that goes to another unnamed downtown building, which then has more fiber off to the Caltech campus and then also to the Scenic Network. So for those of you who are going to see any of the Internet 2 webcasts in the Moroccan room, that's how we're getting out to Internet 2. So just in case you were wondering how is this all connected, this is just a little bit of how our downtown connectivity goes. So anyway, that's the setup. And my final thing is, you too can host NANOG, and your baseball team may make the playoffs. So not only has this worked for St. Louis and Los Angeles, but it worked for Chicago as well. So if you would like to make the playoffs, you might want to make a pitch that you host the joint meeting in October. Get some local people to help out. There's a lot of people besides your organization that may chip in resources, so it doesn't all have to come from your organization. And you can check out the NANOG sponsorship page for more information on how to do that, and I'm sure that some of us who have hosted before would be willing to give you tips on how you can do it in your city. So welcome to LA, and I hope you enjoy the session.
Thank you very much. Next up we have Don Welch, who's the president of Merit. Merit is the administrative host of NANOG, and they've been doing it since 1994 and doing a darn good job if they do say so themselves. No, if we do say so. Don.
Thanks, Todd. Well, welcome everyone. You're probably not surprised to know that meetings like this aren't put on through magic and for free. So I really would like to thank a lot of people here. If I can get the next slide up.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's your... Where are your slides now? Do you have any slides? We don't have any slides.
Ready? Did...
We don't have his slides? No. So sorry.
We really planned everything except for this last part. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So besides the host, which we're very grateful to, they're very important, but there are also contributors. ARIN, Internet 2, Cogent, Interworld, and the Measurement Factory had contributed significant amounts to help us keep the cost down and be able to put on the meeting. Our break sponsor, we really appreciate. Beer and Gear and the Continental Breakfast sponsors. So in the newcomers meeting, many people, beer was one of the main reasons that they came to NANOG, and so we'd lose a lot of attendance if it wasn't for the Beer and Gear. So we really do appreciate all the sponsors here, many of whom are very regular in their sponsorship of NANOG meetings. Social sponsors, CRG West, I believe that was last night. Okay. Also, I really want to thank all the on-site Merit staff. Every 4 months ago, they go through a lot of work. They do a lot of work back in Ann Arbor, and they do it in a very professional way. To really concerned about how well these meetings go off, and they work very hard to do it. And I really appreciate it. And if you get a chance, say thanks to them too. I know many times they only get talked to when there's something wrong, like the room's too cold or something like that. But give him a pat on the back, please. Pete Hofswell is here from Davenport University, and he's helping out. Rick Reneke and Sue Joyner, Sue, of course, on the mail list committee. And for those of you that have enjoyed the new website, Brian has done, we think, a great job in doing that and hoping to make NANOG more valuable to you. I also don't want to forget the PC, the SC, and the MLC. The program that you're going to see is really the product of a lot of hard work on the part of the program committee, and they have worked very hard over the last few years to really try and bring you some great content, and I think they've really come through. And I want to thank them. The mail list committee, of course, is very important in keeping the content on the mail list flowing. That, of course, is another thankless job, and I really appreciate all the effort that they do. And, of course, we work very closely with the steering committee to keep NANOG on track, and they have meetings, as Philip says, every fortnight, and that's a lot of time that they put into it. But NANOG would not be what it is today without the dedication of the steering committee. So, just quickly, Merit is doing well, thank you. Probably like most of your organizations, we're a little concerned about the financial system and where the economy is going to go, because it'll affect us all, but otherwise we're doing fine. I want to encourage you to vote and to make good decisions on who you put on the steering committee. As I said, they're very important. The charter amendments are coming up too, so please pay attention and please vote for the steering committee members. Next NANOG meeting will be outside of North America. It'll be in the Caribbean, and I really want to encourage you to come. This is outreach to that region. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be very important to the region. And when I last checked airfares, it was no more expensive to go there than it was to come here. So start working on your manager to get permission to go outside the country to a warm place in the winter, which they may look a little scant at. But right now the rates are good, so we'll see where they go there. But I really want to encourage you to come in January and make that a success. So let me just quickly wrap up by saying thank you for your attendance, thank you for your participation. NANOG is a community, and the quality of the community is really the quality of the people that are here. So I really appreciate the fact that you are all here interacting with each other and making our internet more stable than our financial system. Thank you.
Thank you, Don, and thank you to all of the presenters. So I have a couple of quick administrative announcements, and then we'll be segueing to our keynote address. So there's apparently a missing black Timbuktu bag from the newcomers breakfast. If you stole that, could you please return it to the registration desk immediately? You may have actually taken it by mistake, but I'm assuming somebody just stole it. That's just me. I don't think the best of people. As Don mentioned, voting is now open. The traditional NANOG way is for a pathetically small number of you to vote for steering committee and then spend the next year complaining about the people who are on the steering committee. We could do that again, which is probably what we'll do, or you guys could actually just vote and pick the people you wanted to be on the steering committee. That's the other option. I like that one better. So please do vote. The charter amendments are up there. We discussed them last night at the community meeting. Where's Steve Feldman? He was around here somewhere. Where is he? Steve Feldman shepherded the charter committee, the charter amendments through, and so if you have any questions about them, he is by far your best person to go ask if you don't know what these cleanups are about or if you missed the community meeting last night. The survey will be coming out and will be available. It's up. Survey is up. Online. We actually do read the survey results and try to program to them. So if you have some feedback that you'd like to give us, we would like to receive it and make this a better conference for you. And finally, just a couple schedule changes. The hoped-for mystery presentation will not be later this morning, and so there'll be some schedule shuffles in the meantime, which mostly means you'll get a little bit longer version of some other content. And the last point is, if you received mail from me saying your lightning talk was accepted, please submit your lightning talk slides as soon as possible so that we can get them loaded onto the speaker's laptop for later today. If you submitted a lightning talk and you did not receive mail from me, that doesn't mean that your talk was not accepted. It just means it wasn't accepted yet. It may mean it won't be accepted eventually, but we haven't rejected it yet. That's my point. We're going to get around to rejecting some of you later on. There are still, I'm sorry. Rejection takes time, people. There are still 2 lightning talk slots available for tomorrow. Lightning talks, for those of you who have not seen them before, are the opportunity for very late breaking or preliminary work that is sort of appropriate for a 10-minute presentation but not for a half-an-hour presentation to be given at the conference with very little preparation. The very little preparation suits most of you and your work habits very, very well, and so we get a lot of really good lightning talks. If you have one that you're thinking of, put together an abstract, slap together a couple of slides and submit it. Those are still available at nanogpc.org. You can submit them. So thank you all. I'm going to excuse our guests, and we're going to introduce the keynote. So you guys can get down, unless you want to sit up here for the whole thing. So. There's props. Give us a second.